Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Fan Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Huh? So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
Your favorite podcast is Critical Blast.
The Madness Entertainment Group presents the Madness Comic Network with original programming and additional comic-related content. Tune in and subscribe to Comic Talk with Pops Van Zant on YouTube.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Silverline Sunday. This Sunday on January the 15th. How's everyone doing? Caught Tommy in a little bite.
What? No,
What?
not me. Not doing anything. Huh? How
How
are
are
you
you this
doing?
evening, Tommy?
Do what? What?
I said, how are you this evening?
I am fabulous. How about yourself?
I am doing just dandy.
How about
How are
you,
you,
Mr.
Martin?
I'm doing good. Is it called Silver Sunday because of my hair? Is that what this is?
Yeah, you should
Dan Rollins here.
closer and let's get a better look at that. Yeah. It's funny because, people have teased us about that before because it's like, hey, it's all the old people on Sunday, so it's Silver Sunday. And I'm like, I am offended by that remark.
It's true though, but that's true. But yeah,
Yeah, I got to turn my volume up a little bit. I can't hear y'all very well. Here we go. It was already up pretty high. Okay. Try that.
Oh, so you're going old, going deep. I see. Yeah.
your gray in your hearing is going.
We have a theme going on here, right? Yeah, and the problem, the thing too, this winter I grew, as I've done for a long time, I grew my beard out, and of course, I would come up to particularly my son who liked to say it. He would say, "Oh, I didn't even see it." because it was all gray and just blended into my. So he's like, you're funny.
It's the truth.
So Facebook user, I have no idea what this is. Hey guys,
Hello, Facebook user.
Facebook user,
Just random
I
Facebook
apologize
user.
that I don't get to say your name because I don't know who you are. So
Well, that is his name. Facebook. is his
Facebook
name.
user, yeah.
Yeah.
We got it again. It says stopping in for a bit to check out my fellow friends and colleagues in this comic space.
Well, howdy do. See, not
Oh,
only
here we
does it say
go. Bradley
Facebook.
Golden. What's up,
Oh.
Bradley? How are you?
Mr. Bradley.
Thank you for stopping by and checking out. We are going to talk about some independent comic stuff today. We're going to find out what Martin's big plans are for the years for Cosmic Times. Oven says, hello, Silverline family. Looking forward to seeing you again at CFCC, Martin.
I will be there next weekend.
There you go. How are you, Pete?
Yeah, I'm good. Just a bit tired. Sorry. I did wake up and then I thought, I'll just give it 10 more minutes, and that was half an hour ago. So then I had to rush around. Oh, Christ.
Once again, you're in your kingly robe there.
Yeah, so threw on whatever I could find.
So if we don't behave, he's going to snap a few times till we're all
You
gone.
look so royal with that.
There you go.
Yeah, it's my Thanos robe. You know, with my gauntlet on. And...
So just so everyone will know, I sent Pete this document this week, so you can see what it is.
Credits
Oh,
to inspiration
great.
from. I know you've looked at.
Yeah. So it's done, and Pete has it, right? So I'm not going to tell you his comments, because if I tell you his response back, he hadn't read it yet. I don't. Have you read it yet, Pete?
No.
Okay, but unlike Tommy, Pete will read it.
I will, yeah.
But before he read
I like
it,
to enjoy it as I'm creating it. That's what I like.
he sent me a comment back before having read it, but I can't tell you what the comment is, because if I do, I'll give away something for issue number 2.
Wait, so
It was really funny and made me laugh, though.
So that 2-page thing is one of your Marvel style scripts?
It's not 2 pages.
It looks pretty huge.
It's actually, how many pages is it?
It's 2.5
6,
pages.
well, this is page 6, right?
Oh,
But
my.
this is, yeah. So, yeah, but yes, it is a Marvel style. See if I can't turn the pages. So this page 1.
So if you put it closer,
Page
you know, put it
2.
closer to the screen, we can read it.
Let's see that last
You
page,
don't know what
especially. Yeah.
Page 4.
Oh, my Lord.
There's a lot of words on there, Pete.
A lot of words.
Page 5. and
More
then
words than usual, man.
I can't show you what's on the, because even so there's a surprise even for Pete on this one, in this one. So I feel anyway, once he gets to the ending, I might get a message from him going, oh, I didn't see that coming.
Maybe
So it's not
all
your
right.
normal page 3 through 20 big fight scene. Do what you want.
Yeah.
No,
Make it look pretty.
Make it look pretty. Throw some
Make it
punches.
look pretty, and
explosions,
I'll take
and
all the credit. I was like, okay.
power
so
blast.
there are moments in there though when I do things like this though. And Pete's seen it before, so it's not a surprise. When I say something like, where's it at here? Well, shoot, I know I did it. I say something to the effect of, I don't care how he gets there, but this is the last scene. This is the last image on this page, right?
No,
It's like,
no help,
they
Pete.
fight,
Just figure
and
it
I
don't
out.
usually
care
read those about the end of the page. Like, oh, damn, I should have put something on the page there. Whoops. I'll put it on the next page.
It's just talk, and then there's a new scene.
You
And
hear
then
that?
I'm there.
I'll put it on the next page. No, Pete, it's supposed to be a page turner.
Oh.
And usually at the end it just says, but it was all a dream. So can you make it look like it was all a dream?
That was last week. That was last week.
It was all a dream.
Vic says, Bonacera, Silverline. One of these days
He's
I'll say it
cussing
right.
us out every time, it seems
Yeah.
like.
And he
I don't
says
know
it
what
looks
to do.
like some Alan Moore type thing. It is not. And Vic, if you'll send me another message, I will actually send you, because I don't remember. I'll send you the it's a page by page plot. It's a Marvel style plot. I'll send you the plot for Silverline Team Up number 1, since it's out, and you can go pick up a copy if you don't already have it and compare the plot to the final thing. So
Is
it
there
is not
another
out.
term besides the Marvel style?
Plot first.
Plot first, because it seems very branded. It's like Kleenex. It's like
Yeah.
Right.
And the
That's
funny
what
thing
they
about
used
it
to say.
is Marvel doesn't own it, right? DC, I know people who have done DC Comics. I mean, like legit published DC Comics using the Marvel method.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Marvel doesn't own it. They're just the ones that kind of
right.
started it, and Stan started it, what with the single page sort of synopsises. Roy Thomas came in there and kind of perfected it, I like to say, and kind of brought it up from the single page synopsis to a page by page. I think Roy got in there and was like, yeah, no. I need more control over my stories than Stan has, right? So he went in there and kind of perfected the page by page plot, which is in where a lot of the stuff in the 70s and 80s was done.
Now, it may be off topic, but I got to ask, because I can't wrap my head around writing a script that way. When you get the script, then you just like, well, I got to figure out some dialogue to go in here. You don't have an idea of dialogue before.
Oh, no, I already have an idea of the dialogue, yeah.
So why not include that? It helps the artist.
So that's a good question. So here has been my experience. We'll get a couple of these messages up here. Vic says, most Marvel books are very heavily scripted nowadays. Yes, they are. Most Marvel books are actually done full script style, unfortunately. Hyper says, I'm late. Gonna need y'all to start over.
All right,
Okay.
here we go.
Show the thing again.
I wish I had the video that fast. I would have popped it back up. Yeah. So full script versus plot. So my experience is this. Having worked with a lot of very talented writers, I have yet to see a full script that is as visual as an artist can be. I believe that no matter what I say, Pete is going to take what I've written and make it look better if I give him the freedom, not hampered by panel 1, panel 2, panel 3. If I say page 1, panel 1, this is what's in the panel, here's the dialogue. Panel 2, here's what's in the panel, and here's the dialogue. Then Pete pretty much has to stick to exactly what I have written, right?
Yes.
If you give them a plot and just say, hey,
Martin's like, yes, because that's what I want.
right? No, I mean that is you expect that, right? If I give the artist a plot, then he can say, here's what's happening, and then they can work their magic and make it look pretty on the page without worrying about, okay, the writer has called for 6 boring panels. Let me put these panels in here, and then they can make it look pretty. Hopefully, then the artwork will communicate some of the story that you don't have to then repeat in the text, right? And then you can layer it. You can add stuff onto the top of it that's not telling, Hulk punches Thor with a mighty blow, right? Why is Hulk punching Thor with a mighty blow? You can get some layers on top of that.
But wouldn't it be? Again, I'm not playing devil's advocate.
No.
I'm just curious.
Sure.
You would then have to go, like, say, for subtext or some underlining character development moments. These little moments with the characters where they're saying one thing but meaning something else, and wouldn't that? 6 pages. Do you have enough? Like I'm looking at the script I have here, and I have 3 pages for 1 page of comics.
That's Alan Moore.
It's Martin Pierro. I was just looking at it right now. I was trying to figure it out.
Yeah. So in my experience, and I haven't read your.
And I'm not saying you're wrong or I'm right. I'm just curious.
No. And I'm not saying that because I haven't read your script, but in my experience, artists don't want to read 3 pages worth of script for a single page of a comic because. Again, that's you've seen an Alan Moore script, haven't you, Martin?
I believe I have over the decades.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like for instance, and the only reason I know this so quickly is because it's in part of my class. Page 1 of Watchmen was 6 typed pages of script. That's a lot of text. And the problem is this, right? The problem is not that the content isn't good, but the problem is, again, as I have seen it in my experience, is that writers tend to think they're more visual than they really are. And when you write a panel by panel full script, right, you have to be kind of the co-director. But
I understand that, but I write a script that says 6 pages, 6 panels on this page, and if the artist says it needs to be 7 or it can only be 5, obviously I'll defer to them. Again, it's just baffling that you can get a book out of 6 pages of a script.
Marvel did it for years, so
and Todd McFarlane still writes that way. But again, if you weren't, say, working with Peter or working with a particular artist, would you not put more detail if it's a fresh, brand new artist?
So when I started working with Pete was a fresh, brand new artist with me, right? And now Pete had obviously he's got the Kubert School experience, which is one of the reasons that I feel confident in. Well, I saw his work, but also I know what they teach at the Kubert School. But I also put things in there. It's not just, I let him know, here's some of the things they're talking about. Here's some of the things they might be thinking about. Here's what's on their mind. He's doing this because of this happening, right? You can't keep secrets from Pete, right? As
I agree. Yeah.
Right. Pete has to be on the same page with me. And one example I give is I cannot write in this script, a mysterious man enters the room. Because Pete's going to email me back and say, what the heck does a mysterious man look like?
Right.
He's bottom right hand corner for me.
Bottom right hand corner.
Here he is.
He's that guy.
Silhouette guy in the
That
bottom.
guy.
He's on the bottom right hand for you. There he is. Look at that.
Yeah. He has to be.
Well, I mean, it's obvious that if in the script, in the Marvel Way script, if it's, say, for instance, your 6 pages of a fight scene where the last thing is obviously you're, as the writer, you need the guy to stab the guy in the face with a knife.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're going to say the guy's got a knife and he's switchblading it around.
Yeah.
That way, it ends up where it needs to go at the end.
Yeah.
I would assume.
Well,
right?
I couldn't find it skimming through real quick, but for instance, in this script, Champ is in a fight, and I wanted him to.
You didn't tell me how to draw that.
No.
I wanted him to be
It's silhouettes. It's all in
in
silhouettes.
a certain place at the end of the fight. I'm like, at the end of the fight, I don't care how he gets from there to here. I want him to be. This is going to be a fight. We'll talk a little bit about it, but I want him to be at the end of the fight, which is at the end of that page, right? Because I want it to be a page turner. He is, standing there with his fist ball facing this one last opponent, right? So Pete can then do the choreography is how he's going to get from that first panel to that last panel. And I'm good with that.
But now, and again, I'm just curious. You're your own publisher and probably your own editor. Back in the day when you were at Malibu, did you have to be more descriptive in your scripts? Like, because somebody would have, like, especially when you were writing licensed properties.
Well, so it does vary. So, for instance, my first plot to Pete had more details than this one does, right? Because number one, I've worked with Pete. I know what Pete can do now. Number two, when we go to a location, I don't have to describe it again because Pete's already drawn it. I just say, hey, this is the character from the first issue here.
Remember the warehouse from
right,
book
the
one?
warehouse from
in
issue 1 scene, right?
Yeah.
And I don't have to describe that again. I don't have to put in those details because Pete's already drawn it. Right. So
besides, this is the 3rd issue of a 4-issue thing. It's not like
But I'm saying, like, back when you were doing BattleTech, would you have to be more descriptive because there's a license?
So the BattleTech, I had to write a full script for.
Okay.
They wanted to okay every little thing.
So I have done those. It's not to say that I haven't ever written a full script. I would say probably about of all the stuff that I've written, it's about half and half, right? And there are reasons for a full script, and there are reasons for a page-by-page plot. A full script, a lot of editors want to prefer a full script because they don't have to deal with the writer twice, right?
Get it out of them, be done with them, right?
If I get a full script from you, I don't have to talk to you again, right? I've got the script, and I just can put it through the channels. If I get a page-by-page plot, I have to send you the artwork, and you then have to write
the script,
the script, the dialogue and stuff for the artwork that you get. So I have to deal with you twice, right? And there's a lot of editors that do not want to do that, and I understand why, having dealt with some of those. Tommy knows who I'm talking about, right?
I'm not saying that.
I'm not mentioning any names. But yeah, you had to deal with them twice, and it's like, oh man, no, I don't want to have to do this, right? Let's get some of these
interesting
questions. No, it's good questions, Martin. I like them. It's kind of stuff I really like talking about. Hyper Potato said, "Did you know that Silverline has a project that you can back on Kickstarter right now? Go do it. We will wait for you." Hyper's right. Okay, we're waiting. Okay.
We got 7 days left.
Let's see. I need to go check to see. I was going to do that just before we launched, but I did not. So we are at $31.43 of a $3,500. So we are $350 away.
And we're a stone throw away. We're there.
We're a stone's throw away.
But we still don't. That doesn't mean for people not to go. Get on.
That's right. That's right. Thank you, Hyper. I can always depend on you for that.
Right.
And he adds, now Peter is a superstar with commissions available as an add-on with Silverline's current Kickstarter.
Oh yeah.
That's right. There are still add-ons available.
Me too. Come on.
Is Hyper Potato BJ? Is that?
No,
she's our pitch lady.
I know exactly who Hyper Potato is. You might know, Martin, but I cannot reveal Hyper's name. I cannot reveal Hyper's secret identity because it is not my secret to reveal. Did you kids know that Martin and Roland both fulfill all their campaigns? A rare and admirable quality. That is absolutely correct. And I have my share of, I was just reading some Cosmic Times books.
Oh no!
Just the other day. Where'd they go? They were right here.
Trash.
I tried to. No, my trash is right there, but they were back
Oh,
there.
there they are.
Yeah,
I wanted to add another thing about the script stuff real quick.
Okay.
With Martin, because you're the not only are you writing most of everything that you're doing, you're the publisher too. So
Yeah.
do you think that because of being the publisher, you have an overall look of what needs to happen, so you don't want to do, you don't want to rely on the artist doing something that might not be exactly the way that the published book is supposed to go. You know what? Does that make any sense? You see what I'm saying?
No, I don't.
Probably. No, I probably. My background comes from television and film scripting, so and all that is a full script all the time. And when I learned to write comics, I learned by reading Mark Millar's Civil War script, comparing it to the comic, and it was a full script. I had known about the Marvel way, but it's just to me it's elusive. I don't know if I could ever do it. The only artist I have a connection with that I know I could rely on like that is Zach Bassett.
Mhm.
So I definitely could see writing a script like that, but and then letting him fill in the blanks and whatnot. But
I'm a believer, Martin, that once you try it with an artist that you feel good with, is that you won't go back voluntarily. Because and the reason I say this is because I believe you will get a better looking book, right? I believe that, and of course, Martin, I love you, but I believe that the artists that you use are going to be a better cinematographer than you are in your script.
But I am a trained cinematographer. So, okay.
Well, and I hear you. And I worked with a lot of very experienced, comic book writers that have written for a long, long time, and their full scripts weren't as good as their page-by-page plots. Yeah. So some of it.
I could crank out a lot more scripts if I was writing 6 pages at a time as opposed to 40.
And why do you think Stan Lee did this? Why do you think it originated?
Oh yeah, I know all about it.
Yeah. All right.
The man is like a spider. Write it, Steve.
Right.
Steve.
Let's see. Vic says, I tend to give myself a full script and deviate in the moment for stuff I do for myself. Yeah. And that makes sense. Granted, these panel descriptions are 1 to 5 sentences, and 5 pushes it. Well, when you're writing for yourself too, you know what you mean. You don't have to elaborate, assuming or trying to make sure that, hey, I need to make sure that my artist is going to get it. So and Stilito says, this is why I do it all by myself. Yeah.
Sometimes it's easier.
This is a very good question. Vic says, was the Aircell cat and mouse Marvel method or full script? It was Marvel method. It sure was. We started it from day one with the Marvel method, and I did all 18 issues. I have, thanks to my wife who kept them all, I have them all still, which I did not realize I had.
Of the scripts or the books?
the scripts.
The script. So why don't you put out a script book? That'd be kind of fun.
You know, I'm not sure that anybody'd want it, but yeah.
I would love to get a hold of one of your Marvel scripts compared to one of your comics and see the differences.
That's interesting. I have to...
just do my own thing. Tommy and I just going to do whatever we want. We look at the script and go, should we just not do this page? And go, yeah, don't do this page. I'll talk to Roland and square it. I say, okay, Tommy, great.
Yep, let's skip it. Let's skip. I don't want to ink that. Just skip it.
I don't want to draw any more cars. Yeah.
Fire engines.
Make them walk.
Police.
Make them walk
down the country. Good.
Greg says I do a hybrid style one plot script. I'm not sure exactly what that means. Yeah, I think so. So I've talked about this with different people, and so my problem with that is when you do a page by page and panel by panel breakdown without the script, I think you're doing a disservice to the artist, because you're asking the artist to draw what's in the panel by panel without telling them the words that's going to be in the panel. So if the artist draws a panel and then you fill it up with words, the artist is going to say, well, why didn't you tell me there were going to be a lot of words in there? And then I wouldn't have drawn all that stuff, right? I wouldn't have drawn my head like this. I would have drawn my head like this, right?
Give you some room to put some stuff.
Yeah, give it room for that. So I think that's a bit of it. Of course, I haven't seen it, so I can't say. Baldwin Orange says, "Hey guys, what's up, Baldwin Orange? Good to see you here." He says, "In the comic book world, what is more important, the art or the story?"
Oh, next.
Yeah,
next
right.
comment.
And what was the show Todd McFarlane did? Did you guys remember that? What was the show Todd McFarlane did?
Show.
He did the Spawn movie. I mean,
yeah.
I guess there was a Spawn animated show for a while on HBO.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know he's appeared in different things, like Todd's How to Draw Spawn or something like that. Little specials. I don't know. I'm not sure what show you're talking about there.
I was at the panel where he and Peter David got into the boxing thing.
You
about
were there?
Writing. Yeah.
Dude, no way.
Was that MegaCon? I think it was at MegaCon. Wasn't it MegaCon? No. It was Dragon Con. No, it was in Dragon Con.
Dragon?
Yeah, it was.
No, dude. It was San Diego,
because Todd came out in a boxing outfit.
Yeah,
he had
I've
the
seen the
thing, and he was like this as he was coming out there. And,
That's funny.
And then Peter tore him a new ass, and that was about it. It was back, it was back in the day when it was like what was more important, the art or the writer kind of thing. You remember when Image was doing, we didn't need writers, we just need that was
Well, you remember Todd and Peter David got in that. It was Eric Larson and Peter David that got.
Well,
in
Peter
that
and everybody, right?
Well, he picked a lot of fights. Hyper says, "I'll take a script book." Martin and I will. Thank you.
You got two.
Yep. Ryan says, "Indy publishers and writers are where it's at." Hello, Silverline crew. What's up, Ryan?
What's up, Mr.
Roland, as a stretch goal, you could give a PDF of the script with the book.
I have. You know what?
But then people will see. Well, I've just ignored it.
Oh, fair enough.
You'll have to edit. Roland will have to edit the plot a little more to make it match up to what Peter drew.
You notice every time you mentioned showing up the script, Pete's like, "No, that's a bad idea."
No.
Forget it. Then horrible.
Don't worry.
That's not a bad idea.
We do have a stretch goal that we've been throwing around about editor. What do we call it?
Director's cut.
Director's cut, where we can just Peter wants to drink while he's doing it.
We should keep saying it. Yeah, because it won't make any sense anyway. So why do you do this, Pete? I don't remember. I don't remember why I did this.
Pete,
I don't remember looking at the
script. Why did you draw this?
I didn't get in the script for page 15. I don't think there was a page 15 in the script. I just had to make it up.
Thomas doesn't know how to ink fire, so I drew something else. That's what he's going to say.
Vic says, "Really, if you'll send me the script for issue 1 of it, I'd love to." So you got it. So you know me by now, Vic. Send me a message and I'll send it to you. Otherwise, I'm just going to forget. But yeah, Spawn on HBO was a killer. That story is legendary. Talking about the
Peter David.
McFarlane Peter David story. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hyper says Peter chimes in with gold. Of course, that's why we have him here. Hyper. New stretch goal tour Epcot with Martin.
100%.
Yeah.
We're doing a lot of new stuff over there now.
I'll point to how it's all horrible now, though. This used to be amazing. Now it's horrible.
So
well, they're ripping out the that new water feature. So we'll see what
the whole middle of the park.
Here we go. This is a good one. This is a good one for Martin. So Aaron Humphrey says, "Hi Martin, I read some of your company's titles, Giant Robot Warrior and The Good, the Bad, and the Prehistoric. I really like those titles, especially the Robot Maintenance Crew comic."
There we go. Thank you very much.
Weren't we supposed to talk about Martin? We're rambling on about something else.
We can talk about anything you guys want. Martin doesn't like talking about himself. So.
Martin's seen enough of our shows to know that this is kind of the way things go. Baldwin's got another question here. It says, let's say I wanted to start a national comic and I have the art and the writing already. If I wanted to print and distribute it, what does that cost? Well, that's $1 million question, isn't it?
A lot.
It depends on how you distribute it, and it depends on where you print it. I'm going to check Kablam because, as everyone knows, Kablam is where Silverline comics are printed. I'm going to check Kablam real quick, and I'm going to give you the prices that come up there. Baldwin.
And I hear that they've their turnaround times are halved now.
Really?
Yeah.
So, all right, Baldwin, I'm just going to drop these numbers in. Let's say you're doing a standard size comic, which is, this right here. This is a standard size comic. And we're going to say it's in full color and it's 24 pages. It costs you $2.88 per unit to print. So you can print one of these at $2.88. So obviously you're going to have to do the math. Let's say if you did 100.
It would be 288.
That would be 288. I would do words, not numbers, right? So you can get 100 copies of your 24-page color comic for $288 plus shipping to you. So, so go to kablam.com and you can drop those numbers in there. There you go. Vic even says Kablam prints is like $3 per color, 24 times less. There you go. And Greg,
number one comic printing company in the world.
Plus shipping. Yeah. So plus shipping. That's why it behooves you to print more than one copy, because you can print one copy and it's going to cost you to ship that one copy to you. So it behooves you to print more and have them shipped to you.
Fill up an envelope. Don't make it so it runs over into a priority envelope for 6 books when you can fit 20 in a thing, because you're still paying the same amount of shipping. So, and you can
you can even drop them a line and ask them, hey, what's the how many books, how many 24-page books can you fit in one of these? And they'll tell you, hey, we can fit 12 and a half or whatever.
25.
25. There you go. 25.
I just know these things. I don't know why I know.
Tommy,
you've heard tell.
Tommy, why would you know these things?
No.
Tommy, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
The foil stamp on Roland's new his the new books.
I mean, those guys, I don't know who they are, but those guys golly, I keep screwing up my thing. They are fixing that's a new foil stamping that they're doing.
So that's a stamp on top of the cover. Then
it's not a stamp. It looks like a stamp, so it doesn't have that recessed, embossing to it. But we can do foil stamping. So we've got 3 or 4 different things that we can do now. Foil stamping. We got a iridescent thing that we can do. We can even do, and then you can print over that too. So if you wanted to make the foil, iridescent blue or whatever, you can do that too. And it's
so for the Trumps here,
really pretty.
The hearts are printed on top of the foil.
No, those particular. I just set that up where they're just printed on the paper. So it's but it could have been.
They look really good, Pete.
So we've got to redesign all that.
Send me 100 of those.
We can do it. Yeah, and it's and that's all the foiling is going to be done on cardstock. So it's.
I just said it looks like a thicker stock. Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be for it to go through the sleeking machine. It's called sleeking. If anybody, I probably shouldn't tell people what we're doing. It's foil stamping.
It's magic.
Can you edit that part out, Roland?
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Hyper's having flashbacks to the 90s. He said Trump's adamantium cover, vibranium cover.
Okay.
So we can do the silver, and then there's also, it's kind of a rainbowy looking, but it's not rainbow, but it's an iridescent color to it. So it's kind of not just silver if you wanted it to be a little more fancy inside there. I think it's really pretty. It's really pretty. And you do the whole cover that way too if you want, and then print the toner over the top of the metallic.
Does it take longer to dry like that, or?
Sure.
I'm just curious.
Yes, it does, and that's why they charge.
It's a longer process, and it's a whole. It's not like you've been to the office before. It's not like where we just print them and the books come out. This is the thing where we have to figure out what the foil part is going to be. Then we have to run that part through to print on it, and then we have to foil it, and then we have to run it back through again.
So the color. Like somebody like Roland or myself, we would send you layers, like the layer.
No, you can just tell me what you wanted foil, and I'll fix it. But if you wanted to do the layer thing, that would help me out. But you don't have to. You can just say make the logo silver, and I'll drop the color out if you don't want it. If you just left the logo white and said put silver in where the white is, I'll just fix it and do it.
And is that on your website yet or not yet?
We've been working on it last week to get that part of the thing up, but no, we had the iridescent paper going, but that was such we were losing, not that we were losing money, there was so much waste because of the paper that we were using. We bought a whole system now. Oh no, the dogs are gonna get.
You can hear the dogs. They're downstairs. I'm sorry.
No, they're gonna get him. Martin's dying. No, it's so we bought a whole system, a whole machine that does the foiling now. So it's
that's not. I mean, I don't know what we were talking about when again. It's not actual part of the two machines you have.
It's a separate thing that you do separate on. That's why it's a whole process to it.
Oh my god!
So it like when Barry's doing the trade paperbacks, how you print it all and then you have to go to the other machine to put it all together. Well, we have to print the cover that's just going to be full, then we have to foil it, and then you run it back through again, and people are getting really bored. We should talk about this after.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to sidetrack.
I present the dogs are excited about the Kickstarter.
They are excited about it. But
Vic said the gimmick covers return. When's the die cut Switchblade cover coming out?
That would be super
die cut,
cool.
but we've already got the most of the Switchblade kind of worked out here. That will be.
Roland,
that will be.
You should do 2 bullet holes through one of those books.
There's only some people that understand the reference behind that. Martin.
Yeah, which book?
Silito says, "Thank you for sharing your experiences and resources with the rest of us independent creators." You're absolutely welcome, Silito. That's what we're here for. We love making comics. That's the thing about Silverline and about Cosmic Times. We love making comics. That's what we enjoy doing. We come here and we talk about it every Sunday. We usually talk about other stuff, but we can talk about this stuff because we enjoy the heck out of it. So there was another question here from Martin. Hyper says, I know many Silverline comics available on Indie Planet. Does Martin put Cosmic Times up on there too?
Funny question. I used to have books on Indie Planet, but I guess I failed to fill out a W-9 somewhere along the way, or a W-4 or something.
Yeah.
I had them all pulled down.
Yeah.
We have to.
Uncle Sam has to know, dude.
I keep saying we. I don't know who those guys are. Those guys has to have. We have to have the form, even if you don't sell anything. We have to have your form because if they ask us if we have it or not, we have to be able to prove that we have it. Yeah. So all you got to do is
because if you do sell something, you have to be able to report that.
Yeah, because I'm not paying your taxes, so you.
And it kind of boils down to that, right?
Yeah,
I ain't paying
it's about time to start doing my taxes.
Essentially, oh, that's right. It is getting tax time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Ooh.
Pete's like, we pay the crown every day. What are you talking about?
Pay tax.
Taxes. In the tea, we're gonna dump your tea into the harbor.
Speaking of tax, totally unrelated. I have this. I'm kind of working with this guy who's doing micro distribution for me in Portland. They don't have sales tax in Portland.
What?
Nope.
Yeah, they just tax that. They tax people all different directions, but no sales tax.
How is that
Not-
possible?
Because that's what I was asking. Well, how do we calculate the sales tax? We don't have sales tax in Portland.
Not country sales. Not
That's
like
what the man
Florida
told
has
me.
no sales tax. You're not talking about that, right?
We
You're
have
talking
sales
about-
tax. We don't have federal income tax, but they don't have. You could go to a store, buy a $6 pack of Coke, and it's $6, not $6.63 like it is
wants.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, I hated that in New Jersey. Every time I got to I was like, oh, hang on, it's not going to be this much, is it? I've got to add on some sort of stupid number.
Yeah. Well, and the
Percent
thing
I always
of
had
is,
that
do
argument.
if you buy the same thing across the state line or even across the county line, it can be a few cents difference because
Yeah.
one place might have 6% sales tax, the other place might have 8% sales tax. And,
Our county's more expensive than the neighboring counties because
is it
we
really?
had to do something for the teachers or the schools or something. It was a temporary tax that never seems to want to go away.
When I was working at Disney, especially dealing with the people from UK, so you get a Coke that would be $2.99, and there you go. Okay, well, now there's tax, and then when you move from like the Magic Kingdom over to the All Stars, where I did caricaturing, that was in a different county, which was a percent higher, and then they would go with the exact amount of change to pay for their stuff, and it costs more, and they go, "Well, this doesn't make any sense," and I'm like, "You're right, it doesn't."
Wait, Disney?
Yeah,
is on
Disney
two
sits on
different
two counties. Yeah,
Yeah, there's in two different counties.
Orange
I did
and
not
what's
know
the other
that.
one? Osceola County? Is it?
And Polk, isn't it?
Polk. Okay.
I
Something-
did not know
it's in
that.
two. Yeah, once you cross over, it's in
Remember,
two
they bought the
different
land at Patchwork and then kind of
Yeah.
put it
Okay.
together. So you did caricatures at Disney?
Oh yeah, for a long time.
When
Yeah.
did
That's
you?
what brought him down
When were you doing it? When did you start?
I moved down in '99 and
Okay.
did them until I quit, which was not too long ago.
Interesting. I told a story the other.
16 years. 15, 16 years. Yeah.
I wanted to be an animator, a traditional
Yeah.
animator.
Yeah, that's kind of
And-
what I thought I was wanting to do.
Well-
when I first moved down, when they were still doing it in the studios, that was kind of my thing. And then they yanked it all out of there and brought it
Exactly.
over to California.
The studio had yet to open in Florida, but it was open doing animation, but the park hadn't opened yet. And I went to the Contemporary Resort. I was thinking about going to the Ringling School of Art to study animation.
Oh yeah.
And there was an animator from Disney who was moonlighting doing caricatures at the Contemporary. And he also knew Bill Black from AC Comics. It was like a weird coming
Bill
together
Black.
of my future. And I started talking to him like, "Oh, I want to go to Ringling." And I was a young kid, and he's like, "You don't want to be an animator." You know, like, "Yeah, I do. I want to be." He's like, "They're going to start you as an in-betweener, and for years you're just going to be drawing in between animation."
I hand. Part of it.
And then ironically, 10 years after that, animation just kind of now it's all computers and
Yeah.
Now it draws it for you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not quite, but it's a different skill.
So Hyper wants to know what TV you wrote for, Martin.
Well, I wrote several pilot pitches that no one ever caught. But
So should we start at the beginning? We should start at the beginning. Let's go into the Martin story.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
go.
yeah.
Well, the Martin story I just started. That was
Yeah, because I'm gonna start eating right when you go there.
Yeah, Tommy needs to eat. Yeah.
No, I
Talk, Martin.
I did a lot of stuff for commercial television. Nothing fun, nothing exciting. And of course, in college, we all wrote our feature films that were going to be we're all going to be the next Spielberg, and I'm still not the next Spielberg. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this before we get to the topic at hand. Maybe. How do you think that? How do you think that has your experience there, your education and your experience there? How do you think that has helped you make the move from that into comics, or has it helped?
Well, I've always wanted to entertain people and work and tell stories, and that's kind of where it was. I wanted to go to Ringling School of Art, tell stories through animation, and then I got that comic bug again from the same guy who told me not to do animation because of the AC Comics. He's like, "We're doing these wrestling comics for AC Comics and all this stuff," and I kind of got the wheels spinning for comics again. But then I ended up going to the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale. God rest its soul. It's out of business now. But and because I did a tour there before going to Ringling, and they're like, "We have all this equipment that you can use to tell your stories with." So I kind of got pulled into that world. It's still ultimately visual storytelling, though.
Yeah.
It's just a different medium, and obviously a different way to approach it and things like that. But I did a lot of work as an editor, editing video and editing things, and so I think that taught me pacing.
But that's a
and things
video
like that.
editor and not script editor, right?
Right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, and that taught me pacing, and it taught me a lot of the skills I bring to writing comics. I still bring a lot of film type methodology to writing my comics.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to pacing.
Well, this also explains too why a lot, I think anyway, why a lot of your social media video content is so good. Because I'm assuming that means you do it yourself, right?
All of it. Yeah, I do everything myself right now.
Well, that explains that. Because I really like the video social media stuff that you do.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Somebody watches it. Oh, great.
I watch most of it. I don't know that I can't say that I watch it all, but I watch a bunch
it's
of it.
It's only a minute long, Roll. I get about 20 seconds in.
Well, sometimes you think no, that's not what I meant. When I see it, I watch the.
I know.
Watch
I'm just
full, but I might not see something you do because I try to stay away.
But I like
just making me laugh. He goes, Portland, come for the burning government buildings, stay for the zero sales tax. And then he says, Roland may not know this, but Disney is really big.
Yeah, it's twice the size of Manhattan.
Is it really?
Yeah. Yes,
I
it
didn't
is.
know that.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
It's huge.
Tommy, were you a Disney employee or were you like a
outside vendor kind of third party contract?
Right.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to. So that like Michael Duran does that now. Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I met Michael. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you didn't have to go through the Disney training and the Disney traditions.
No, you still do. They still send you, but it's a really short class that they send you to.
See, I used to.
I was already so Disney crazy anyway. When I went into class, even it was my two-day class. They're like, tell Thomas to shut up. He keeps telling everybody.
Dude, I gotta tell you, just to tell a little side story. I used to work for the Disney store, down here in South Florida. And I went in one day, Mulan had just come out. So what is that, like 95, 94? And the soundtrack is missing a key piece from the movie, the scene where she cuts her hair. It's just great. It has this kind of techno vibe to it. And I went to the Disney store and I was talking to the manager and I was like, hey, why is this not on the soundtrack? And when she's like, why don't you come work for me? And during the interview, because I used to be a Disney nut. Like I used to bleed Mickey Mouse. And during my interview, what got me the job was like, what's Donald Duck's middle name? I was like, Fauntleroy. Everybody knows that. And that, of course, got me the job.
Has a middle name?
Yeah, Fauntleroy. And that got me the job. But and we went through the traditions training and all that. And I used to love that company. Not so much these days, but it seems to be
I still do. But
the money is just getting outrageous what they're charging for this stuff.
Yeah, I can't afford to go. Yeah, Vic says you guys are making me feel young.
Sorry.
It's true. All right. So Martin, 2022 is over. You are an independent publisher.
Thank God. Yes.
How do you as a publisher what do you do in looking in the rearview mirror to say, here's what I'm going to do the next year, here's how I'm going to improve on the things that I did in 2022? What are some of those things that you take into consideration as you begin to plan for your next year? Obviously, we're talking about 23 in specific, but you've been doing Cosmic Times for several years now. So how have you approached this, and how do you kind of retool and replan and move forward as an independent publisher?
All right, yeah, I've been doing this since 2008.
So that's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's 15 years.
Well, I guess this year. But technically, the book didn't come out until 2019, and it was printed by Kablam. So there you go. As they've opened the gateway for so many independent publishers, and some good, some bad, but that's another subject.
Tommy says, we print the books, we don't make them.
I print the books. I make sure that they try to print right. That's all that. I mean, those guys, yeah.
No, actually, I'll tell you this. Just before I get to the 2023 in a second. When I first published my first book, Arthur Legend Continues, I published 50 with Kablam, and I published 50 with this other company that I think is Comic. Express, I think is what it was called, and they're gone now, and Kablam's still here. So there you go.
I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kablam is the longest running digital print-on-demand comics printer in existence.
Weren't they like the
15,
first?
16 years? No. Comic Express was they were out before we were, and
wasn't there also there was a Hulu, right? Lulu.
Yeah,
That's a website. They're still around, I think, aren't they? They do regular books now. Yeah.
I think they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
But,
So back. Sorry, I just wanted to mention that you guys have outlasted the other guy. And I got you brought the books to me at MegaCon. I had to get the Comic Express ones delivered, so I highly appreciated that too. 9 years later, I wanted, or 12 years, 13, 14 years later, I wanted to mention that.
Yeah. Just to throw, we're not delivering them to MegaCon. You gotta come by and pick them up. We're too big for that.
Those were the good days.
No, we don't even get invited to MegaCon anymore. So I don't know what that tells you something.
Anyways, I don't want to get. We can talk about the old days and like Terry Cronin and Students Than Usual and all those days with Christine and Beth and everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
But moving on. So 2023. So a lot of my plans for early 2023 are actually plans from 20. I had the beginning of or the ending of 2021. I made a lot of plans for 2022. I made too many plans or 20. Yeah, and I couldn't quite pull them all off, and I lost my focus. And this is the year I turned 50, and it's still like this. It's weighing on me. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
So there's like one of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to jump into webtoons or whatever, and so I wanted to do that last year. So I finally got that launched this year. I'm trying to just expand my reach. Part of when I started Cosmic Times was I wanted to get outside of, try to find new readers, bring them into comics, find, and so. That's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm with these micro distributors. I'm working with this guy, Comics Mainstream in Portland, because I'll never get up there and be able to do a show anytime soon anyways. So to get my books up in Portland, I'm working with this guy, and it's a great thing. So yeah, a lot of my plans for this year are to try to expand what I'm doing, to try to reach new markets and new audiences. Like I'm going to try to do some more shows outside of Florida this year, which I think is very important, is for especially bringing new people to Kickstarter. Yeah.
I know you and I both talked about. For those who don't know, Martin is in South Florida, and of course, Tommy and I are both in Central Florida. Part of the things that Martin and I have talked about before, and of course Tommy too, is like, how do we get out of this? How do we get out? Florida is so far away geographically from everything else. Not quite as far away as Pete, but it is like, how do we get to the rest of the country and not break the budget?
It's
how dare MegaCon not invite Kablam?
I agree.
No, they used to. Used to.
I dated a girl that loved Disney too. She got a job at the Disney store just for the discount.
It's a heck of a discount, plus the free tickets.
Yeah.
That's why Tommy married Renee. Just kidding.
Well,
just
that's
kidding.
what you told me.
Renee, if you hear this, I'm just kidding.
Can you cut Pete off? Turn Pete's volume off.
So yeah, with the getting out of Florida thing, it's a challenge. Like I'm doing this. I'm next week. I'm going to announce a show I'm doing. It's a 17-hour drive outside of Florida, and if I just lived in Tallahassee, it would be a 10-hour drive.
Yeah,
it's getting out of this freaking state just takes forever. And for people that don't live here, it's hard for like people that live in Tennessee think it's just an hour or two drive out of this state to that state. You don't realize how big Florida really is. It's long.
Right, it is. Yeah, it's so. Particularly if you live at the bottom of it, like you do.
Right, and I'm not even at the bottom, but I'm close. And
even still, it's like a 4-hour, 3.5 hour, 4-hour drive to the straight north for us to the next state.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
so add 3 more hours to that.
Less, 4 or 5 hours because you run off into the water, so you have to go north to get it. Yeah. So that takes up all your time trying to get out.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that is I would say absolutely this. That is a challenge. No, so it's funny that you mentioned that, because one of the things that we've been talking about so often, probably over the last year at with Silverline and the team, is like, how do we get more eyeballs on our product? It's like, you feel like you only have so much reach on your social media as you have it, right? Unless you happen to do something that, since Tommy does TikTok, we don't have one that's gone viral yet, right? So unless you get a viral TikTok, it's like, how do you get more eyeballs on your product? And that's the thing that we keep struggling with, and we keep that's really pretty much kind of our daily conversations around here, is how do we get more eyeballs? How do we get more people to be aware of what we do?
Well, it's slow and steady wins the race. That's kind of
I
the
agree.
and again, I think what elevated me, and then I kind of lost it, was the being distributed by Diamond.
Yeah,
Because it regardless of the downfalls, for lack of a better term, of dealing with Diamond and national distribution, it does put your comic in hands of people that you would never be able to reach any other way.
yeah.
It's costly, it's heartbreaking, but it is a necessary evil, and that's part of my business model too. Is I got to keep getting content into comic stores, to try to grow my audience.
So let me ask you a question. Have you looked into Lunar at all? Have you talked to those people?
I have talked to them. They actually, believe it or not, they want a physical. They want you to send physical books in with a physical, try to submit that way, as opposed to submitting just some PDFs and, hey, we're ready to go. So
Wow.
that's on the docket for February.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, but again, it's with Lunar, you're just kind of splitting your audience, because it's still comic stores ordering it. They can either order it from Diamond. There's not a comic store that doesn't order from Diamond, but there are comic stores that don't order from Lunar. Well, not anymore, I guess, but for the most part, yeah.
Well, so because I haven't looked into Lunar yet, I'm aware of Lunar. Better discount, worse discount, same thing.
I believe it's the same thing for us on our end. Yeah.
Right. So it doesn't really matter whether it's Lunar or Diamond from the publisher.
Which,
side.
by the way, if anybody who's curious, who might be an independent publisher watching this, it's 60%. You have to give them 60% off your book.
Yeah, which means you get 40%.
Yes.
So if you're and I'm going to do easy math here.
$1.59 if it's $3.99.
Okay, so if it's $4, you get
$1.59. Yep.
Yeah.
So it means your printing cost, production cost, and shipping cost, unless your printer ships directly to Diamond, has to be within that $1.59,
which is pretty near impossible these days.
And I'll tell you, and we've talked about this, the whole rate of attrition, and it still holds true. Say if you sell 2,000 issues of issue 1, you're only going to sell 1,000 issues of issue 2, and you're only going to sell about 600 copies of issue 3, or maybe 800.
Right.
And it just keeps dropping off from there. That's why I always say, and my advice for everybody is, I know you did a 4-issue miniseries. It's a 3-issue miniseries, because that 4th issue becomes you lose money on it. Yeah. Every issue you sell will be costing you money.
Yeah.
And you'll be eating a lot of them. And having, 500 copies of issue 4 and 100 copies of issue 1 doesn't do you any favors at cons.
No, it does not. Yeah. It does not. Yeah. Hyper says Florida is huge. Roller will mention a show somewhere in Florida, and I will look it up, hoping I can run down. 6 hours one way for me. Yeah, I think Hyper's in South Georgia.
Okay.
So I mean,
that's almost Florida. Yeah.
yeah, but not on the line. But yeah. Vic says, I'm hoping to hit Daytona Beach Comic Con this year. You absolutely should, Vic. It's a very good comic centric show.
Yes.
My 25 cents after printing. Yeah, pretty much. Lunar usually offers 20 to 50% off to customers through their DCBS sister store. In case
and I've sold through DCBS directly and got a better discount. Back in the day. Yeah. DCBS used to be more open. Now that they're doing Lunar, they don't have the resources, but they used to be more open to independent guys distributing their books through their website.
Yeah, Hyper says DCBS is direct to customer pre-order service. Now, so
they're good people. They really are.
Yeah. So when you so did you notice a shoot? What was I going to ask you? I had a question about Diamond and Lunar, and I forgot what I was going to ask now. Forget it. I don't remember what I was going to say.
Back to the old man podcast.
Oh, ouch! Hyper says I'm about an hour from the Florida line. So
the thing is to just switch gears. I want to talk more about 2023.
Okay.
But Florida as a whole, and Kablam's a major cog in this machine, is almost a separate comics community in Florida from the rest of the. Like when I went to Heroes Con, it's like this is a different world than the Florida culture for comics, and it's been evolving over the years because we've all been involved in it, and there's a whole new crop of guys coming up who are here on Florida, but they really don't realize the industry's here,
right?
But because Florida's so separate, well, they're the big dog in Florida, when really in the grand scheme of things, it's a speck,
right?
But there's, like I said, there's this whole culture. And it used to be centered around MegaCon. It's not so much anymore because MegaCon was the show to go to. But I would definitely say that there is a unique comic culture, pretty much the whole state of Florida for the most part.
Yeah, it is interesting because I find that with some exception, we get outside of the state of Florida and people are like, Silverline, I don't know, what are you talking about?
Right.
Yes, we've absolutely got our supporters and strong supporters. Thank you, Hyper, outside of the state. But they're I think there's a way that you can figure out where your supporters come from.
There's actually is it Kickstarter or Kick Track? One of them actually has a map now that shows dots on the map.
I think Kickstarter did that. I can't remember.
Yeah, I know it's changing now. There's a lot of new updates to Kickstarter recently.
Yeah. And I think they're working to become,
we can track it too with our
So since we're talking about Kickstarters in 2023, you got Kickstarters planned?
I have tons of Kickstarters planned.
Okay. When's your first one launch?
My first one's going to be Arthur Legend Continues Volume 2, Issue 2.
Okay.
It's pretty much set to go. I'm waiting actually to get the thumbs up from Kickstarter that we can start promoting.
Nice.
Yeah. But that goes kind of what, I don't know if you can see it. There's a chart behind me. It's a handwritten circle back here.
Hold on. Point to it again.
You really can't read the words, but there's a circle with these other circles around it. And it's something I came up with maybe about a year and a half ago. And I think this is going to be bizarre. And like, Martin, get off my podcast, you crazy dog. That's my role impersonation.
Accurate.
But I believe that obviously you want to keep bringing more customers in, but I honestly think the key to survival for the type of business model we have as independent publishers or small press publishers is, the rule of, do I want 1,000 come and go customers, or I want 100 loyal customers? And you want the 100 loyal customers over. And I developed this kind of theory about it's kind of circular motion that you take your customers or your ideal avatar, your ideal customer through, and they'll enter the wheel either through comic shops, through Kickstarter. But I think part of the key to the future of guys like us, and maybe it isn't this particular app, but it's something like it, is Patreon. I think a subscription based service for what will be ultimately our core customers is the key to our survival, because to function, you need steady income. Right. And Kickstarter, as great as it is, isn't steady income. It's a burst of money and then nothing. And then you go to a Comic-Con, you hope you can make a few bucks here. You try to do this, make a few bucks there. But I think the steady income of like a Patreon system or something like that is really where we'll be heading in the next 3 or 4 years in this. So for me right now, it's to get those customers kind of jumping on a Kickstarter. Then we get them to go to the comic stores. We get them to go to the comic conventions, and we keep providing them with content. And that's how we'll build our loyal customer base, our Marvel zombies, our Silverline zombies, if you will, or Silverline grannies, whatever you want to call them. I don't know. Our silver hair supporters,
Hyper says, I think Arthur was my first discovery of Martin's. One of my favorites, too.
Thank you. That was my first thing. Yeah.
He also added, I've been a fan of Roland since the second Cat and Mouse #1.
Okay.
Thank you, Hyper. I gotta remember. Thank you, Hyper. And he said,
I love that cat. No, sorry.
delivering on campaigns helps build loyalty. It would probably surprise creators how much fans talk amongst themselves about good and bad experiences.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. Me too. Yeah. I mean, I try to watch for that, and maybe people get tired of hearing it. I don't know, but this is one of the reasons I try to always say when I talk about our campaigns is that we have X number of campaigns and they've all been fulfilled on time.
Mm-hmm.
Now you may or you may not like the book, whatever, but you're not still waiting on it. A year later, like some of these creators that have big names, you're still waiting on books from them because they don't know how to deliver. They know how to promote and have a name, but they don't know how to deliver. Well, he said also glad Martin brought back, and hope I remember the title correctly, Chaser Platoon. Did you bring one?
Well, Roland and I can talk about that off air. That's a whole other subject.
Okay.
Roland and I have talked about many times. That's a whole other animal.
I didn't bring it up.
Surely. I know. But that's a Roland Martin conversation. It's been going on for about a year.
Hey, wait, Roland Martin was a fisherman, right? Roland Martin.
I didn't know that.
Tommy, you remember Roland Martin, don't you?
I was thinking Rowan and Martin, for laughing,
well, there's that. No. Roland Martin there used to be a fishing show on Saturdays when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
And Roland Martin, was a guy who I never watched it, but I always thought, hey, look, there's another guy with Roland's name. Look at here's Vic said Silverliners, yes, that's what we are. And then he said Roland was actually the editor on 2 of the first 5 comics I got. So I have a little bit to owe him on my love for comics. Oh, nice. Vic. Oh, so cool. Hyper says, nice, Vic. So Martin, what's missing there is that he's talking about classic comics. I don't know how Vic got these, but they had to have been in the cheap boxes somewhere. So because he's talking about some of the old Malibu stuff.
Well, I'm rapidly getting the largest collection of Roland Man comics. So. It's true.
I know.
Every time I see one, I buy one.
Martin will walk up to me. I just bought this one. Did you do this one?
And then he'll say no, and I'll throw it in the trash, and I'll go get another one. Yeah.
I don't want this garbage.
Yeah.
DMs rolling. What? All right. Pops is DMing me. All right. So we're going to be done at 9:30, Pops.
What's happening at 9:30?
He just says he's got a stream he's wanting to do when we're done. So
okay,
yeah, we'll be done on time. We try not to go too long. Vic says, here you go. Family friend didn't like the Protectors anymore and threw me some X-Men as well. Oh, that's kind of cool. That's the kind of friend you want when they're gonna here's comic books that I don't want anymore. You can have them. Can we still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a punchline. I don't know.
So you're a believer in Patreon then? Is what you're
I'm not necessarily a believer in. I do appreciate Patreon. There's also Substack and other options. And maybe it hasn't been invented yet. Not to be weird like that. So what's up?
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I'm reading the messages before I pop them up here. But Hyper says, now I want to have dinner with Martin and learn about this project, which I shall not name again.
Talk to Roland about it. That's a Roland thing.
Catch me, Hyper, after tonight.
Kablam does a lot of crowdfunding, fulfillment, and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of it, not even close to half, but there's a lot of people that we do the Patreon fulfillments for. Also,
really?
Yeah, there's a bunch of them, like well, I don't know, because we're not supposed to be talking about. But but there's some, and it's you've seen them. You've seen the books when you're over there, and we got one guy particular. That's that zombie book with the half naked chick in it and stuff. He's making bank off of Patreon. He's just got plenty of he puts out an issue every 2 or 3 months, a new issue.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's the same one, sometimes different covers, some with, and it's just Patreon money, boom, boom, boom. Because
I guess that's kind of my fear about Patreon. Something like Patreon is like, I don't know that we would have enough content to deliver every single month.
You need no. He does like behind the scenes stuff. He's got to put. You got to keep putting out some content. So you got to make sure that there's, chats where you come in and just the Patreon people can. You got to give them.
I do
something
that. That's
for
what I
them to
do.
keep. Yeah, that's what you got to do. It doesn't necessarily mean that you got to come out with a new issue every month or whatever, or every couple of months. Now he does. But
Right.
I mean, but he's built it up enough where he can pay the folks to get the books done monthly every couple of months and that kind of thing. So he's definitely doing it. Martin's throwing a fit. He ran
got an
off.
idea.
Oh my lord!
What I've been doing for my Patreons is I just been giving them trading cards. I have a whole box of trading cards, and they're happy with them. And I give them behind the scenes. Like whenever you see me say, "Hey, here's the new cover for whatever book is coming out," I put it on Patreon 2 or 3 weeks before.
Yeah.
And now that I'm doing the webtoon, I post on Patreon the week before. So anybody who just gives me $2 a month or $3 a month gets early access to the things and behind the scenes.
And Stephen Butler, one of our longtime buddy, he started a Patreon thing, and I don't really I should talk to him about it. I don't know if he's doing it as much, but he was doing a thing where when he's just drawing whatever commission, he just turns on his cam and let people watch him while he's drawing it. And
I think that's
enough.
great. I love to watch artists
them
draw.
to be like part of it. That's where you get to see me draw some stuff.
Yeah,
Once a month, you could do something like this. Just do something like, "Hey, I'm going to talk to Peter about this script," and you get to see us do it in real time.
You get to see him not draw what I wrote.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not being silly. I'm just being serious. People like that stuff.
Those kind of ideas. Yeah, just something that not everybody can get, and something that you're not gonna then turn around and just shove it off on YouTube where everybody can see it. It's just something special.
No, never.
Those
OnlyFans.
Hyper says Martin's new project, comic book OnlyFans. He unveils new comics while wearing a Speedo.
Oh yeah.
I'm not an OnlyFans person. I don't believe in OnlyFans, but it's a similar thing to the Patreon, though.
Yeah.
And just like that, here's what I do. If you want to see more, you got to pay a little extra, and then I'll do this.
Yeah.
Dun,
He says the
dun.
show's been stolen from Martin. I feel kind of bad. Hey, it's not been stolen from Martin. We're talking about Martin.
That's
Martin.
fine.
Martin
I don't
knows
like
this
talking
stuff.
about me. I don't like talking about me. But again, that's my theory. Is that it's you need to service your fans more than you need to always be trying to pull new people in. But you got to take care of your core.
Well, and this is where I was kind of trying to lead to this is that so we talked about Kickstarter a bunch. There's Crowdfunder, there is which is a new platform. Obviously there's Indiegogo, but I don't know if you've kind of been following all the crap going on with Indiegogo.
I've given up on Indiegogo.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would go to
Backer
Indiegogo.
Kit has a new platform.
Who?
Backer Kit, they have their own platform now.
Oh, do they really?
Do
I
they
did not know
really?
that. Yeah, I think that. There was another. Luke Stone is coming up with one. Zoop, Vic, thank you, Vic. Vic mentioned Zoop. So there's Zoop. Luke Stokes coming up with Fund My Comic or something like that. So there's several different new platforms out, and not to ask you to be specific, but would you ever consider going to any of those other platforms in order to try to expound your reach? We've talked about amongst Silverline. We talked about Zoop some.
Only if Tommy and Barry launched Blam Planet or something crowdfunding.
We have several times. Barry and I have got so many. If you would just see all the weird stuff that we have come up with, we just had enough time. We've spent hours talking about how we would do a Kickstarter thing. Not that it would be any better, but I mean how to do one if it,
Because we get a Speedo.
Well, Barry and I at Free Comic Book Day in 2009, he put out a plan to do distribution to comic shops, and we did.
No.
Okay.
No, the Comics Monkey was the
Monkey. That's what it was.
Yeah, that was our thing, and nobody wanted to do it.
Really?
We wasted not wasted. Well, no, I don't mean. Of course, all of us wanted to do shop after shop. I don't know how much money we spent sending samples and pamphlets and things off to shops, and they just weren't interested. If it didn't come through Diamond, they just did not care. Even if we said we would send you free stuff, because Barry and I, between just us, we produced. We're making comics ourselves, and we were willing to send books to people, to shops, to say, here's what the books look like of our stuff. Not send y'all stuff, send our stuff. The books so it wouldn't cost anybody, or it wouldn't. Like you're getting, your books, just giving your books away for free. Yeah. I guess is what I'm trying to say. And they just, we had some shops that our friends own shops, like in Mississippi and stuff like that were kind of cool, but nobody was interested. They just would not do it. Bunch of jerks.
I think shops like that, a lot of them are afraid to do and try something different. That they've been stuck with Diamond for so long.
Well, I'll tell you, it's been a few years since I did a full-on calling of all the comic stores when I'm in the catalog. But it was always you'd call stores as an independent. Well, if you're not in the catalog, we don't want you. Yeah. Then I got in the catalog, and then we called probably about 1,000 stores. Hey, we're in the catalog, page 137, blah 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 blah, and at least half the stores were, we only carry Marvel, DC, and Image, or a few of this, a few of that, and then the stores that said they would carry it lied.
Yeah.
Because I know what my order numbers were, and if they all the ones that said they carried it, I would have sold more units.
Yeah.
So
because they'd have to order a minimum, and whatever that minimum was, 5 copies, 10 copies. You go, boy, just those 50 stores said that they would order. Let's think how many more copies. No, you didn't get any more.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But again, the part of that has to do also with Marvel and DC. Marvel more so saturating the market. They're putting out at least 4 times the amount of titles they did 10 years ago.
Right.
And there's just no shelf space anymore, especially a smaller store.
And you've got stores that are going to order whatever Marvel does and DC, no matter what. So and this is part of, believe it or not, this is part of Marvel and DC's marketing plan. It's like,
I'm sure.
Look, if we produced 40 more titles, they won't have room to order Dark Horse and Image and Boom, right? Because they're going to order. And obviously, everybody else below that, but they won't have room to order those because they're going to order these. And so it's a way to
at Kablam, we see a lot of really, really, really good books that are way better drawn than the stuff that Marvel and DC and Image is putting out. Lots of time, and and nobody's buying them. It's the stores aren't there. Yeah, you look at stuff and you go, this is so cool. Because they can't get the stores to put in. They're like, this book looks so much better than
nobody knows
your
about
top Spider-Man book, right? Yeah,
Stilito says, I have a 5-issue storyline sitting in my creative corral. Issue 2 is 75% complete. I have 5 independent titles to pull from within my independent studio. And then there was something else that was a follow-up to that.
Pull from.
My reservations on breaking out of the starting gate is not having enough finished product to keep the momentum going. I'll answer this first, then you guys chime in. I think, Stilito, if your issue number 2 is 75% done, and that means your issue 1 is finished. If you're doing all of this by yourself, you are not going to be able to, and I'm assuming you're not independently wealthy, you're not going to be able to maintain a monthly schedule, just because that's a lot of work to do month to month to month. But don't sit on that first issue. It's not doing anybody any good if you've got it finished and it's just sitting there. Get it out. Get it in people's hands. You'll get, even if you don't sell as many as you think you will, or as you hope to, which is almost always the case, there is emotional rewards in having people read and see your stuff, and that can help recharge your creative batteries to keep you moving. And then just shoot for a pace that's yours. Whatever pace you can produce, whether that's one comic every other month or one comic every 3 months. Whatever your pace is, your fans will begin to expect that. And they're not going to expect you to do, I don't think so. They're not going to expect you to do one every other month because you're doing it on your own.
And Kickstarter is a lot more forgiving as far as your gap between issues.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And there is any of these crowdfunders, you can use those to help you get to the point where you can deliver those to people. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Pete?
Well done.
Use it as a store. I know they don't want you to use it as a store. Pete's got to wake up. Use Kickstarter. Make it a
showing
store.
a really good arm. I'm showing a really good. It's really good.
Well,
What is
I
it?
was
Let us
talking to-
see. Let us see.
Let's see the
I
arm.
can't show you because I'm not allowed.
Oh, no.
Secret. Top secret.
Not allowed to show off my work.
Well, I was at a con today talking to a fellow creator about using Kickstarter. Yes, it's a funder; it raises you funds, but it's also a marketing tool. It gets
It
your
is.
name in front of
Yeah.
people who don't normally know who you are. Kickstarter itself pushes you out there. You work with like other creators who give you a mention in their updates and things like that, and you kind of work your way into the community. So it's a launcher for your project, but it's also a launcher for you
Right.
to get your name into a slightly larger sphere.
Yeah. Fruit Brat says, create the office except it's Silverline. That's for our Patreon, right?
There you go.
Yeah. Hyper, I'm not going to put that one because Pete should not be drawing something else for one of the those guys. He's got to finish this. Oh, what did I just do?
I mean,
You
I
guys
have
finished?
finished. I'm just looking.
I see you
making a
rolling.
You guys not
yeah,
even
now.
hear me.
I hear you and see you, Roland.
What do you say? Don't do
Roland's
anything
lost.
embarrassing.
What's he
Don't
done?
do anything embarrassing.
This is looking like the old man podcast.
All right,
Look at
we
this.
got the
Oh,
show.
no.
The monkeys have taken over the show. Oh no, Pete's froze.
All over.
No, he's not.
That piece moving for me. Roland's
Yeah.
not moving. Well, is he alive?
His eyes are blinking.
I think he's
Yeah,
gone.
He's blinking.
He's gone.
Defibrillate.
All right.
Anyway.
Well,
Well, it's been
Okay,
good.
I don't know
The show
what's
is
going
over.
on. Can
It's
you
been a
hear me
great show.
now?
Whoa, there's two of them.
We can't have
Can
two
you hear me
Rolands.
now?
Yes.
All right. So let me figure out why. You cannot hear me.
We can hear you.
Audio.
I can hear you.
You're good.
Oh,
You're good.
microphone.
Oh, well, they can't
We're
see or
watching-
hear us.
The funny thing is, he
I see
How
you
is this
talking, but I
happening? Well,
can't
it's-
hear you. I'm afraid to. Let me kick this one right here.
Oh, this is too rich.
Can't-
This is too
I've got
rich.
two of me. Look.
Can you hear
Two of
now?
me.
though?
Oh right, okay, I'm coming.
Uh,
I'll be back. I'll crack crying baby. I'll be back.
Well, doggone it. How do I get that one off? Somebody give me a
Later
thumbs
on,
up.
Pete.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, you can hear me. How do I kick me off of the screen? Edit mic settings.
Just go back. Go down there
You can
twice.
hear me, but
Come
I
on there
can't hear
twice.
y'all.
It don't matter.
Did you hear us? Can you hear us now? Oh,
Why can I not hear you?
Oh, this is the professionalism
This-
we're known for.
Martin, this is the way it always happens.
Now I can hear you.
Oh, can you see us?
I can see you.
Okay.
Yeah. That is just weird. Okay. Yeah, stop that. All right, let's see here. What did I miss here? Here we go. Was Tommy's Zomboy self-published? Was it in Diamond?
Yes, it was. The very first run was. It sure was.
There you go.
3 issues. I did 3 issues through Diamond back in late '90s, early '90s, mid '90s, whenever it was. Sure was.
Yeah.
But we
now-
still can't use this.
No, now I've got a nasty echo.
Echo.
Yeah.
Echo.
I don't know what I did.
But yes, Zomboy was in there. The new one hadn't, but the old Zomboy was. That's cool. Somebody remembers Zomboy besides Roland.
I remember Zomboy. I talk about Zomboy all the
I
time.
love Zomboy. Zomboy
I do
is-
too.
Yeah, I got to get back to it.
Yeah. Toledo says, that's great advice, Roland. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm certainly a believer of if you've got it done, don't sit on it. You need to get it out there and use it as a learning tool, right? Get it out there, let people see it, and if it regardless of what the feedback is, I'm still getting this echo. You'll get that feedback to you, and that will help you learn as you grow. Yeah.
You know, it could be. We don't know. Maybe it's the guy's first book. Look at Roland's froze up again. No, I see his eyes blinking, and so he doesn't want to get it out there until he's done. I mean, you know, I understand that with your first book. You know,
you're nervous.
But from us that have been doing this for a while, get it out there, get it done, get it gone, move on to the next one. You know, get it out, do it.
Say something.
Yes.
Hey, the echo's gone.
You fight with your echo. Pops is going to kick us off in 9 minutes, and you're worried about the echo.
No, he said we're good. He said we got a little bit of time. He just wanted to make sure we wouldn't go too long. Stilito says, "Thank you for all your feedback, gentlemen. You are very welcome, Stilito. And we hope that you will come back here and let us know what your progress has been. Come back. We hope to hear in maybe not a week, but in a couple of weeks that hey." You've gotten that ready. You have gotten your issue. You're ready. You've gone to Kablam and you've looked at all of their requirements. And here's the cool thing. Tommy hears me say this all the time. Here's the cool thing I like about Kablam. You can print one copy. So every time I talk to Martin, he's like, "Yeah, I had to print 25 copies." I'm like, "I printed one copy, right?"
No, it's like 2,500 copies I'm printing. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's true. But that's because you're going through Diamond. Yeah. But you can print the one copy and you can use that as your proof if you want to. You can use that as your proof copy.
That's going through some.
And the thing about it is, I've heard people say, "Well, I don't want to make Kablam mad." How is that going to make?
Why does that make me mad?
You're going to print a copy and send
those
it to
guys
you.
mad.
You're going to pay them for the copy that you print.
Actually, we love it when the 1 copy, 10 copies come through because we realize that you're test printing something, seeing, you can make your corrections, that kind of thing. We hate it that we're the people's proofreader sometimes because, but you still, that just means to us when we see somebody put in an order for 1, that means that they're going to turn around and put an order for 100, maybe a month from now when they go get their book and they'll see that they need to make some. Yeah, that's fine. That's no big deal at all. And I was going to talk about the other guys, where he said he had like a 5-issue thing. Wouldn't you rather know? And we've had this conversation with Silverline about doing, graphic novels instead of the single book. Wouldn't you rather know even if it is your pet project, that if you did 1 or 2 issues because you really liked it, but you're the only one on this earth that likes the book, and there really is no reason for you to do the other issues? Wouldn't you rather for them to be done with it now and not do the other ones and waste your time and do something else?
I actually have a controversial thought about that.
Okay.
The especially if the person kickstarts the book, it seems to be, especially in the last couple of years of Kickstarter, it's not necessarily the quality of the book anymore as much as it is the popularity of the creator.
Oh,
because I would say about half the books I get on Kickstarter are almost unreadable.
Yeah.
And the creators aren't getting better. They're actually getting worse because they don't need to get better because they're always going to hit their goal because of their popularity in other circles.
Well, let me ask you a question about that, though. So I don't. And if Hyper's on here, maybe Hyper will talk about this. He just left a comment. So Hyper, maybe you can pitch in your 2 cents on this. So I agree with you. Me as a backer, right? I won't back one if I've backed it. Okay, let me rephrase it. I'll back one. I'm like, okay, all right, I'll back the other one. If there's not improvement, if I'm not seeing improvement and I see that 3rd campaign come out, I'm like, well, this doesn't look they're not learning, they're not growing anywhere. And the story doesn't draw me. I'm not going to back it. I don't. No. I won't back it. Don't you think that there are enough fans out there and backers of Kickstarter that says, hey, this is not a very good book. I'm not going to back it anymore. I backed the first one. I backed the first 2.
I would like to think that, but maybe I'm not the best critic. But
what is it, Martin? And I think I kind of agree. If this is what you were saying, Martin, that they're not backing the book; they're backing the person.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
And there's a lot of Kickstarter, and I hate to say it, and I love when Roland backs my books, but whenever I'll go through my list of backers, and half of them are fellow Kickstarter creators. Why are they back? Because they want to know what happens next, or they're just trying to hope that I back their book. you know?
Well, I think so. Yeah, and I get that. I absolutely get that. But I also think some of that too is that at least I this is what I tell myself. I think that the people who kickstart, not all, but some of them, I think they're comic fans too. I consider myself a comic
I'm
fan.
a comic fan.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
And I think this is why, you know, I've backed a lot of Kickstarters, but it's also I am a comic fan, and in the same way that when I was buying Marvel and DC all those years, if certain books were bad, I would drop them until they got better, or until
Right.
they hired John Byrne to come on.
I was about to say until John Byrne took it over.
Right. Here we go. Let's see. Hyper says, Tommy, please tell Barry we need more John Amon.
I will.
Yeah.
I definitely. I'm going to show him. I'll go on because this will be streamable tomorrow. I'll pull it up tomorrow. By the way, it's since we brought Barry, it's his birthday. So if everybody wants to jump on Facebook real quick, mention happy birthday.
There you go.
Yeah. So is it the 15th or the 16th? This is his birthday.
Today.
Yes.
Today. All right. So happy birthday to Barry of John Amon and
your longtime kid buddy, my buddy.
He posted a picture, I think last year on my birthday, that I had never seen before, but it was he and I from the 7th grade. So that's how long I've known Barry. Vic says I might be having to pay for color on my black and white book for Kablan to give it an old school yellow tint. Yeah, I mean, if yellow is a color, so
that is
Yellow
that
is a
is
color.
that is yeah. You know, there's no way around it. That's
Order yellow paper.
Where what?
You couldn't get enough. I mean,
Yellow paper, yeah, I guess there's that. Hyper says there was a guy who delivered and the book looked promising, but I ended up not backing anymore because the comic just didn't click for me. So there you go.
That's just life, right? That's not the
right.
You can't.
But I know that Hyper
like
backs he backs a lot of independent comics out there. I see him talking about it all the time on Twitter and places like that. So he backs a lot of comics. So and this is kind of what that mimics kind of my feeling is like, look, if you get a book, I might give you a second chance. But if you're not getting better, and if it's just something that ain't working, yeah, I'll quit. But I do think that there are people who back people.
Yeah, well, I think there's also a comic publisher who is following the exact same mold as Kickstarter and bringing on people who have a following but aren't necessarily good comic creators.
Well, so you know, that's unfortunately, I think that's a trend in a lot of entertainment. I know for a fact that book publishers will look at your social media network, and if you don't have a considerable network, then they're going to say, nope, we'll pass on your book. And this is like that's information from almost a decade ago when I was trying really hard to get a novel published. This is one of the things that I learned is that they wanted you to have a following. Yeah.
People that are that's money in the bank for them, right? They don't even have to worry about
it takes quality and makes it quality the second tier instead of the first tier, where that should, is it quality? Is it unique? Is it something fresh? No, that's not what I'm talking about.
Okay. But we try not to mention too many names on here.
Right. You put it on the screen.
It says Stilio says, thank you, Thomas. That's great feedback. And Martin, I appreciate your input as well. Cool. You're absolutely very welcome. Let's see. Stilito did say he already published that first issue back in 2003. Okay, so I will say this: 2003 to 2023, that is a long time in between.
Well, it's a new book now. Just re-release it. It's new.
Yeah, just put it out because you're talking 20 years. You're probably going to have some folks who remember it, but you're looking at a whole new crowd now. So kickstart that,
especially if you throw it on audience. Kickstarter.
Yeah. Just do number 1 and kickstart that thing to a new audience, and then you can show artwork from number 2 as part of your, not all of it, but as part of your updates. Hey, look, I'm working on number 2. You guys come out and support number 1, and in a couple of months we're going to have number 2.
Yeah, get Pete to draw you a new cover for it.
I'm very busy.
He's very busy
uh,
drawing arms that he can't show us.
That's
but
right.
for the right money, I'll do anything.
That's right.
All right. So here we go. Here's where we're at, y'all. We are at here's our Kickstarter. We have 7 days left. We have 3,143 of a
350 bucks.
gold. Say again.
$350 ish.
Yep, 350 bucks ish to get to gold. So hopefully.
Well, what are some of the kicks? What are some of the the rewards we're going to do? Because we're gonna with everybody's help, we're going to blow through that pretty quick here. Because it's always the last goals? 3 or 4 days. Yeah, the stretch.
Are you talking about stretch goals? So let me open.
Yeah, what are we going to do?
All right, so we talked about the first stretch goal we're going to have at 3750 is a bookmark. Do I have bookmarks here? Look at it. I've got some bookmarks. We have done some dandy bookmarks that I absolutely like. And it's funny because I told Kablam that they printed this bookmark for me at the first time. He goes, "No, we didn't do that." And I showed him like, "Yeah, oh, we did do that." But it's bigger, as you can see.
Yeah, throw those away.
Okay,
we don't do those anymore.
That's not the size anymore. But
that's not a bookmark. That's a piece of.
But you can see
normal bookmarks.
Yeah, some dandy bookmarks, and they're actually two-sided. So yeah, you can get like this one here is Wolf Hunter, and then on the other side it is Sirens. And then we've got Sniper and Rook on this one, right? And then on the other side is Rejects.
The Rejects.
Yeah.
As long as we can get card stock in. God, card stock is still a hard thing to get.
This was Kalis and Kalis. Then we got Trumps on this side and Cat and Mouse on this side. You can't see this.
Can you put foil on a bookmark?
Why would you? It will get all beat up.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
How about like a trading card?
No, we. I don't see why not.
Yeah, you used to get those foil trading cards all the time, didn't you? In the
Yes, I'm trying to think of how hard it'll be to cut without marring up the stuff. The way that we're doing it. At all. No, we can figure out. Yeah, you can do it.
Just get scissors.
Turn Pete's volume.
That's what scissors are for.
All right, let me
stuff all the time with scissors.
Look at these. Vic says, "I'm no inker, but $20 is $20." Launching tomorrow, Hyper says, beating Martin to the bunt. Peter's OnlyFans, drawing arms in a Speedo.
That's right.
I would do that if I could get enough people.
I think people do it. He sure will.
There's somebody out there.
Then he actually might get his wife to watch the streams.
She's asleep with the baby.
Says, Roland Martin, I'm very open-minded to starting a new project-ish. Okay, my logo is trademarked. I've got a better name for the original book and a new storyline to go with it. So I'm guessing you mean Toledo Graphics. I don't know the name of the book. Hyper, you like Speedos, eh? I figured that would say it is safer than saying, yeah, live
and naked.
Oh,
look,
well, we're trying to get
that might be an extra tier. That's like
that'll be the extra tier.
That'll be tub tier, right?
$5,000. That'll be the. That'll be that tier.
All right, here we go. All right, the rest of it's there. All right, so Martin, tell folks you're waiting on Kickstarter to get back to you to launch.
The 18th is the date they're supposed to tell me. Yeah, but they're supposed to tell me that I can launch.
So when are you planning to launch? Do you know?
Probably 2 weeks after that because I want to give a good chance to get a pre-launch built up.
So you're looking around the
very end of January.
End of the month.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, absolutely. Just let us know, and heck, we may get you back on to one of our streams to talk about it.
Sounds fun.
We'll be in
a Speedo.
What's that?
We'll be naked
in Speedos.
In a Speedo. Where can people find you, Martin, online?
They find me at my house. Oh, online. Just go to cosmictimes.net. At the bottom of the page are all my social media links. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. And I tried Hive, but I think that's not happening anymore.
Yeah,
that's falling apart.
I've heard messes about
the wheels are off the wagon. I think there.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's either Cosmic Times or Cosmic Times Comics on all those platforms. So
all right, yep, and you do some pretty cool videos. I have seen a lot of your TikToks.
I'm doing a series on how to do a convention.
Oh, that's cool.
New guys, how to approach a convention, and learn from all of my horrible mistakes.
Yeah.
That I probably made some today. So
Yeah. Tommy, what about you? Where can folks find you on the interwebs?
Just go into the Googles and type Florimonte, Florimonte, and I'm pretty much the only one doing comics. So, and I am okay. So I've got 3 or 4 TikTok videos that I have now put together. I just need to put them up there. I got to figure out the inner workings of TikTok before it gets taken off of the world when they get rid of TikTok.
Yeah,
but
I hear Vine might be coming back, so you just move over to Vine.
I'm hearing that, but it's Tommy Don't TikTok is my TikTok name. Go look it up.
You need to get them up while our Kickstarter goes live.
I'm gonna do what?
You need to get them up while the Kickstarter is still live.
Yeah, I know. I tried putting one up to now. I was inking and I recorded it and I started trying to put it up there and it wouldn't. What I don't know. I'll figure it out before the night's over. So go over there and check it out. I've got some of the Silverline team up number 2.
Yep, sounds good. And Sir Pete,
Ahoy, hoy.
Where can folks find you and your royal robe online?
On the Google, you just type in my name, I suppose. I got rid of the website; it was a waste of money. But Instagram, TikTok, the Twitter. What's the other one? Oh, Facebook.
Grinder. You're on Grinder too, right?
Peter.
I'll go anywhere there's money.
It's Peter Clinton Art, right?
Peter Clinton Art. Yes.
All right.
He doesn't know. He's asleep.
Instagram's probably the finest place to find me.
Okay. So go to Instagram.
You do put a lot of stuff at Instagram.
I do, yeah. And what I've noticed actually, because it's linked to my Facebook, so whatever I post on Instagram posts to Facebook, which is actually quite annoying. But
I didn't know that.
You can unlink that. I unlinked mine. Yeah.
I don't like to post the same thing to every social media. I think that seems pointless.
Well, no, because not everybody's following on Twitter. Everyone.
Yeah. I'm on Twitter. Yep, that's me. Yep.
Silverline Speedos.
That's me.
Goal. Cosmic Times on the Twitter. Look at this Hyper. Look at Hyper doing our job for us there. Man rolling on Twitter. Peter Clinton Art on Twitter.
Hey,
of course. Make mine Silverline. Hyper has always got you guys. Yes, he does.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of all these guys. Thank you, Hyper. You can find me on all the social media places as well. Just look for Roland Man or Man Roland. Don't forget, we've got a show on Tuesday nights. They're a little bit later than we are. They for the Pacific Coast guys, but they are 11 p.m. Eastern time. And then the Wednesday Wham will be back here 8 p.m. And we will be back here next Sunday at 8 p.m. Hopefully talking about how successful the campaign has been. And until next time, remember to...
Oh, wait.
Oh, well, we're waiting on Pete. Remember to make
mine's back here.
I'm April Hunter. Make mine Silverline.
All right.